welcome to this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports. I'm here, Steve Perry. Greg's going to be behind the camera this week as we've talked a lot the last month or so about the Northeast Motorsports Expo and what people coming to the show could expect. And we know everybody was not able to attend, and we want to spend this week's show taking a walkthrough and kind of show the Expo from the other side of things, and maybe showing you how it gets put together. You guys all think that you just show up and boom, it's done, but it's a lot of work that goes involved in making this show. You know, we come up a day early, map the floor out, let a couple of the displays in, get set up, some of the harder ones, and just, you know, get ready so when we open the doors Friday night at 5 o'clock that we're prepared to put on a great show for all you guys. So we're going to take you inside the Augusta Civic Center and give you the opportunity to see the show from our eyes.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Welcome to the 24th Annual Northeast Motorsports Expo. Got a great crowd in here today, and a lot of great displays put on. And I'll tell you, one of the highlights of every show here is over here in the EJ Pescott booth, and Team EJP, been involved in Maine Motorsports for years, helped a lot of guys, Andy Santerre, Steve Park. A lot of people might not know that Denny Hamlin actually got his first break in the Craftsman Truck Series from Peter Prescott and his gang. So the cars they got the 2009 Special Edition Viper. It's only 57 of those made. We have one of them right here in Maine. And then it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And then this 32 Ford Phaeton Street Rod, just one of a kind. They do a bunch of work up there, a bunch of custom work, take care of customers. They'll build you anything you need. And always one of the nicest looking displays at the Northeast Motorsports Expo. Peter and his guys, Adam, Tom, guys at the shop, Dana, they just do a great job in everything they do. And you see the backdrop and all the stuff, and I'll tell you, every year I get excited to wonder what Peter and his gang are going to come up with next. And I know it's a lot of work for the boys to do their setup and everything they do, but they really, really enjoy the comments that they hear from people, and the people enjoy seeing some of the different stuff up close, and we might only see on Barrett Jackson TV shows or things like that. But we give you a chance right here at the Northeast Motorsports Expo to come up and see it live and firsthand at the Team EJP and the PEP Classic Car Club display, which has been a staple at the Northeast Motorsports Expo. Right as you come inside the front door, right to the left, Team EJP and their group. So once again, we at Mainly Motorsports and the Northeast Motorsports Expo want to thank Peter and Stephen, the whole family, and the whole organization for their continued support of the Northeast Motorsports Expo. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be back, and we'll take you around and show you some more right here on Mainly Motorsports.
Today's vehicles are equipped with complex safety features such as anti-lock brakes, seatbelt restraints, and airbag systems, even collision avoidance systems. Not available in all models. Hi, I'm Sean Moody from Moody's Collision Centers. We don't wish bad luck on anyone, but even with today's technology, we need to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel.
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 6 convenient locations.
Life in Maine is all about outdoor fun and being close to nature. Southern Maine Jeep is all about delivering you the best selection and the best prices at one location. Live it up with a new 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee, increased horsepower and mileage, or go for the all-new look of the Jeep Compass 4x4. If Maine had a state car, it would be the Jeep. No other vehicle has the capabilities that come standard on every Jeep. No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Award Champs, rewarding your champions. The official supplier of Mainely Motorsports. LKQ Core, any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham.
Well, welcome back to Mainely Motorsports as we continue our trek around the 24th Annual Northeast Motorsports Expo. And some of the neat things there are is meeting the fans that have come up here. We just talked to a gentleman that's been here 24 years running. And that's something that we're going to do next year. Next year is the silver anniversary, 25th year of this show. So we're going to do a little something special next year, and you folks that watch Mainly Motorsports, you'll follow along, and you'll hear us talk about the opportunities that we might do something for, a drawing for somebody that's been to every single show, and obviously be the honor system. So if there's 25 shows and you're 22 years old, you can't convince me you've been here. Maybe you were trying to be here for 3 years and it just wasn't happening, but you weren't here. So we continue. You got the Nelcar Legends, and what a great job. And one of the things I like about those guys, they really encourage their guys to come up and support this show and support motorsports in general. So, thank you for them for being here, and, great display. They got some drivers, Matthew Burgoyne, Bob Weymouth, champion Evan Bollier, and they've got a couple off over in you'll see one a little bit later in the star booth, Matt Grant, and Alicia Perry making her debut in the Legends this year. She's set up in her own little booth up by Mainly Motorsports. And then we have one of the vendors. This group, Magnus Racing Products, is out of Connecticut. Came up last year for the first time and saw value in being at the show and came back this year. So I want to thank Mike and his gang and everybody for coming up to support the show and encourage all the main racers to get out and support these guys and use their products. So, just a lot happening here at the show, and people are having a great time, and we're going to get a chance. We're going to talk to somebody. We're going to find somebody interesting to talk to, and it's not this guy, but this guy's does a great job with his display, the Northeast Mini Stock Tour. You've seen him at a lot of tracks throughout. I mean, we used to say Maine, but now he's in New Hampshire, and he's branching out, and they put on some great racing and a chance to pick up his apparel, sponsored by Texas Roadhouse, and, as you can tell, I've probably been there once or twice, but great job, and Bob does a nice job with his tour. His drivers are here with their cars, supporting what goes on up here and trying to promote his product as well as his sponsors' products. Then we get into some big high-dollar shiny stuff. We got the young crowd with the 4-cylinder modified series, and they're going to be racing out of Star Speedway this year. And got a young man out of New Hampshire, TJ Blow, and he's got his car up on display, and just beautiful looking car. And here's TJ here, right? Now, I want to get a word with TJ. And is this your first trek to this Northeast Motorsports Expo?
Yes.
So explain to the viewers of Mainly Motorsports, you can't be much older than 12 years old, but what a 12-year-old thinks of this show.
Well, I think it's great seeing all the cars out here, seeing all the go-karts, and I love being around cars, and it's been my life to be around cars or anything with engines that goes fast. So I like to see car shows and all this great stuff, all the nice cars.
All right, well, thank you, and that's pretty good perspective from a 12-year-old. So someday you're going to be a heck of a promoter.
Thank you.
All right, good luck this year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then we're going to travel along to some big high-dollar shiny stuff, and I don't know what this is for a motor, but I don't think that's in your wife's minivan. But wow, look at that thing. I mean, that thing's brute horsepower. There's a few ponies there. A beautiful looking car, and Oxford Dragway, just every year they seem to get better and better and better with their display, outdoing doing what they do with their with Oxford Dragway, and some of the stuff that's just amazing. These guys, and you can see big time drag racing right here in the state of Maine with Oxford Dragway right up there behind the oval track, and they always come out, support the track. They got the sleds, they got the bikes, I know there's a bunch of classes, and I don't know them all, but you'll see everything. And one neat thing is, kids that might want to get into racing and don't go the oval track side of ways, and they got the junior dragsters, and those junior dragsters, that's actually what Alicia wanted after watching a movie on TV, and Mom vetoed it. And I think Mom probably wished she'd have gone with the junior dragster now instead of the route she decided to go with, because, she see where she is now. But, great display here at Oxford, and we're going to move down the line. Next in line is the Fantasy Speedway gang, and, these cars aren't the prettiest and they aren't the shiniest, but this is where the sport started, and these guys are the heart and soul of what racing is here in the state of Maine, you know. And you can see this is the cars that these guys are running this year. Nothing like what the cars these guys ran in yesteryear. So thank you to Fantasy Speedway for coming up and supporting the show and trying to get the word out of what they are and where they're all about. And that's one thing about the Northeast Motorsports Expo that really takes place. It makes it so unique. Is it's your chance. I know in the wave of the internet and the social media, it's still your chance to touch it, feel it, and come up and pick up your schedules, talk to the guys, the kids, the older generation that actually drive these cars, you know, and that's the neat thing. These guys drive these cars. And, you know, they used to drive them, and I've driven a couple of them, and you can't even believe that, that these cars are what they use. So then the next display is probably one of the biggest displays here at the Northeast Motorsports Expo, and that's Beech Ridge Motor Speedway. And, you know, they travel all the way down from Scarborough, Maine. It's a little over an hour, but 8 shiny race cars in their display. You know, they got... you know, Bobby Timmons, Bradley Babb. You know, I'll tell you, this Pro Series class this year at Beech Ridge is going to be a class to talk about. They're going to, it's just so much talent. Bradley's going to be swapping paint with his dad, and anybody that's raced against the two of them knows it's not going to be pretty, and going to have some long work weeks there, I'm sure, in the Babb family, but they'll get over it, kiss and make up, get a new haircut, do whatever they do, and move on. But I'll tell you, this is the class to watch this year in the state of Maine, I feel. You know, we got a whiz kid. That's their intro program as far as kids' introduction into racing, and Shelby Shirtliff brought her car up. And then next car in line is the champion of Billy Rogers. You know, Billy's yet to make an appearance here this weekend, but he's coming. But Billy captured his first championship last year, and, you know, his crew, everybody had been very supportive here all weekend. Nice, you know, got Billy to hang a body, got Billy to spend some of his money he made. So great job. And, you know, here you are, a champion might not even be getting top billing at a show with all the talk of everything that's gone on there this year at Beech Ridge. And, you know, next we move on to 3 cars that picked up, 3 out of 4 cars that picked up awards last night in the Best Appearing Awards. And we got Dan McKay, who was a former champion in the Naughty 40, you know. Looking forward to a big year, picked up a couple of new sponsors, looking forward to getting back on top. Talked to Dan after the Beech Ridge banquet, and he told me flatly he did not like his seat where he sat. He liked being in the front of the room, not in the back of the room. So really working hard on his program this year. And, you know, brand new Wildcat for Jason Gammon. He took a few years off, and he's looking to come back. You know, built a new car, he's got some good stuff, and, you know, expects to be running at the front right bright and early. And how about this thing? This looks like a tree, you know, Dave Cameron's car. But Dave Cameron took a big step last year in that class in the Roadrunners and really did a great job. Actually won the most races, come up a little short in the championship battle, but I think he's focused for a big run here in 2012 to try to capture, and it would be what would be the 3rd championship in a row for no such chassis car in that Roadrunner division. So great job that him and his team have done. And then, you know, look at this, the 72 of Charlie Colby. I mean, the effort they put in with the display, they got all their woofers and tweeters off, so they must not have paid the light bill. But, you know, wow, what a job they did with their whole display. And, you know, shiny car, this was voted best display for the weekend. You know, they really, you know, they realize that these shows are more than just putting your car in there and calling it good. They want to really show their product off. So thank you to all the guys that have brought their stuff for the weekend, and we really look forward to the continued success of all these guys and this show. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on Mainly Motorsports. From 2-place opens to 5-place enclosed, if you are in the market for a snowmobile trailer, we have Maine's largest selection. Over 100 used sleds in stock with no money down financing available to qualified applicants. Our showrooms are fully stocked with snow clothing for kids and adults. Plugs, belts, oil, and more. Scott's Recreation, Route 202 Manchester, and Holton Power Sports, Route 1, Holton, Maine.
Clark's Car Crushing has been a family-owned and operated business since 1978. We do everything from crushing cars, handling industrial scraps, to buying the scrap metal right out of the back of your pickup. Copper, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, you name it, we'll buy it. We have roll-off containers of all sizes for industrial accounts. We'll handle the legwork with full drop-off and pickup services. So for a professional job, guaranteed honest weights, and top dollar paid statewide, come see the Clark family in Farmingdale, Maine. Clark's Car Crushing. Don't fix it, scrap it.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Northern Race Tire, dealer for Sunoco Race Fuels, distributed by New England Racing Fuel. Moody's Collision Centers, now in 5 convenient locations: Biddeford, Gorham, Portland, Sanford, and Scarborough.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainly Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
Now we travel along, and every year I get excited about a display, and this was one of the ones I was really looking forward to having here this year, and that's Steve Pellering's thundering display of models. He's always gone and done the racing preview and always been involved down there, but he's never come up here to Augusta. So this was a chance for a lot of people that might not be able to make it down to Portland in February to come up and see what Steve has to display with his models. So great job, and appreciate him being here. Kyle Fredrickson and Speedway Illustrated. Everybody should be a subscriber of Speedway Illustrated, because that's where you learn everything there is about racing, right? They not only talk about the big guys, it's the little guys where everybody started. So you get a lot of ways to get your info out there. And then ACT, and I'll tell you, Marvin, you've been coming to this show for years.
About 24.
24?
I was here the very first show, and I was taking tickets at the front gate.
So every show, Marvin?
Every show.
The last 3 years that I've owned the show, you've come representing the ACT Tour, yeah. And you hadn't been here for a while, and I appreciate Tom and his gang seeing the value in this show. And this year you didn't bring a car up. We got a bunch of late models in here that support you guys.
That's right.
But it's good that you're here meeting the people, and talk about that prestigious trophy over there.
Well, that prestigious trophy over there is a signal of the sign of the Milk Bowl, the infamous Milk Bowl that is run at Thunder Road, the last race of the year. Up until a couple of years ago, it was the only race in the country that was a segment race, in that we run 3 segments, accumulating points, and the guy or gal who has the lowest amount of points is the winner and gets an opportunity not only to show the trophy, drink milk, but to kiss the queen. Our queen happens to be an Ashir cow, and he gets to put a big smack right on her
And
lips.
after winning a 5-figure check, the big hardware, and all the acknowledgments it goes, I guess I wouldn't mind kissing a cow either.
No, you ask Brian Hoy. He says one of the best makeouts he's had in a long time.
All right, we will. Well, thank you for coming out and supporting us again, Marvin, as we travel around. And obviously Marco up here with his racing paper, and don't forget Racing Preview 2012, the weekend of February 25th at the Portland Expo building. And then Quirk got the new Fiat, and everybody keeps telling me they want to see J-Lo get out of that Fiat. I want to see me get in it, so I don't think that's going to happen. We have to cut the roof off, then I got to buy a car. And then, come here. No, you got to come here. Listen, we got Charlene Myers, and Charlene, you've been to this show for years. Oh, yeah. Big supporter of motorsports. You own cars. You follow it around. I mean, talk about what it's like to have something like this in January.
Oh, it just starts your year off, you know. You have that excitement of Christmas, and then what are you going to do after Christmas? It's time to go racing.
There it is, and a lot of nice-looking things up here, a lot of drivers walking around, so it is fun, and it gets your blood boiling, don't it?
It does, it does. I'm so glad you picked this up, because it was good to have this come back and be what it is.
All right, well, enjoy the rest of your day, and we're going to continue our walk around for this week's show of Mainly Motorsports. And this group, this is one of those ones that they searched out to me a couple years ago. Ford Racing, Mike Delahunty called me up, said, ladies, we'd like to have a display in there. You know, that's taking the show to the next level. It's getting Ford Racing involved. He came the first year, brought Dave Dion up with us, and, you know, really, really nice. And Mike's been back ever since. This year, he's got the Ford Blue Oval Challenge winner, Wayne Hallowell, and his Bruce Bernhardt-owned number 27 car up in his display booth. These guys have made a lot of money the last 2 years chasing the Ford program with the Ford engine, and you know, really, really appreciate their support. And as we move down the line, one of the things that we talked about on Mainly Motorsports leading up to this weekend, a lot of hype around it, is the Young Guns competition. And this Young Guns competition with all these young drivers, their opportunity to get down to Loudon, going through the process. They're all there making their votes, putting their drivers' names in the hat, and tell you, this is going to be huge, and it's a great thing, and I can't wait till we get the top 10 finalized, and then we start the process. Ricky, Brad, Andy, myself, Marco, Archie himself. And let's see if we can get a word with Archie as he's met a lot of young drivers now. Now, Archie, we had you on the show a couple weeks ago. Me and you, I mean, we look pretty good, but what's this weekend been? I mean,
we both look good. Or
well,
you're talking about
I mean,
me?
I had a lot that the guy says, "Geez, you just don't fill the seat up."
Yeah, right.
I mean, so we got to do something. Either I got to lose it or you got to gain it. But talk about this weekend with this Young Guns thing. I mean, is it all we thought it would be?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's look at the place today. I mean, it's packed. We had probably 300 or 400 votes last night. We'll probably have at least that today, and we'll end up with over 1,000 votes for this thing. It's going to be great. And I've seen some of the names in there, good quality people, getting voted for, and it's going to be great. It's just the start of it, and it's going to be real good.
Yeah, so it's exciting. I think it's going to be a real fun thing for the state of Maine, and hopefully, guys, that we only can have one winner, but I hope the other guys realize to get behind it and support it.
Oh, we want everybody to still get over here and vote. Andy Santerre just left here a minute ago saying, if it wasn't for somebody giving him an opportunity like this, he would have never been where he's been, and 4-time champion, in the K&N series. So it's definitely a start for somebody. So get over here, get your votes in, get your friends over here, vote for you, and hopefully you get picked as one of those 10 to go down and get to the bottom 3 and then be the winner.
All right. Well, I can't thank you enough, Archie, for involving us at Mainely Motorsports and making this happen.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. So, yeah, and one of the unique things that Archie did, and it's pretty neat as far as Archie's in the portable toilet business, so what better way to put your ballot in is in a toilet seat. Now, he's on his 3rd box because I used it Friday night, and I didn't even get to use it. I got up there and climbed on it and sat on it and squished it, so I had to buy him a new box. So I thought, I don't know, I thought it was one of his portable toilets. So Archie always says he's number 1 and number 2 business. So we make the trek around to the front, and you guys have all heard about Alicia and her new venture. Well, this is Alicia's rig for 2012. This is her legend car out of the Bullier Racing stable. So she's pretty excited of what she's going to do and the opportunity she's been handed. And so thank you for everybody that's coming up here and supporting Alicia and supporting the legends. And there's a new vendor at our booth, Racing Electronics, Brian Sharpie. They've been a supporter of us with our radios and stuff. Well, Brian has been trying to come up here for years and just never worked out. NASCAR used to do a couple of big things. Well, Brian this year is up here with Racing Electronics. Hope to have them back next year for the 25th annual show. And really chance to bring your radios up and talk to people and meet some of the people, the things he has going on. And one of the things we've been doing all weekend is this autograph session that we have. And we got Levi Lawrence, Tommy Ricker, and Melissa Fifield sitting here for this hour. So it's a good opportunity for them to get the word out. And these guys give something back, and it means something for these young adults or young children to be signing autographs. So it's a lot going on. We do a lot of awards for the weekend. But before we take a break, we're going to show you and everybody who our Award of Excellence winner was for the 24th Annual Northeast Motorsports Expo. And I'm sure after you all see it, you'll all agree that it's a very deserving individual. So enjoy this piece on the 24th, the 3rd Annual Award of Excellence. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody to the 24th Annual Northeast Motorsports Expo. And this show was started 24 years ago by a man by the name of Tim Mattia. Had vision enough that Maine needed a little show like this up here in Augusta. First part of January, get everybody's blood pumping. Presented Tim with the 1st Annual Award of Excellence under my ownership. Last year that award went to Peter Prescott. Everybody knows what Peter Prescott's done in the great sport of motorsports throughout the state of Maine, as far as sponsorship on cars, young drivers development, helping some of the series get started. So when it came time to decide on the winner for the 3rd Annual Award of Excellence, I just felt fitting that so many of us as race fans and racers have enjoyed the times we've spent at a couple of establishments, one in Maine, one in New Hampshire. This family and this gentleman had vision enough back in 1974 to put on a race that has now been known as the Oxford 250. It was a 200-lap race that time. A young man by the name of Joey Carafas picked up the win. They had that race for many years, sold the racetrack, moved on, bought what was formerly the Breyer Motorsports Park in 1989, and turned that into what is now known as New Hampshire Motor Speedway under the regime of Bruton Smith. But Bob Bear, Sandy Bear, son Gary Bear, had vision enough to create two big events in the state of Maine and the state of New England that we all call part of our summertime vacations. We all make them around those events. And I want to present the third annual Award of Excellence to the family of Bob Bear and his family for all they've done for the racers in the state of Maine and New England. Bob, I want to thank you and everything you've done.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Although instead of us getting the award, I think the award should go to all the drivers and car owners and fans who made it what it is today. We built the place and did all that, but without them, we'd have had nothing.
No, you're right, and I think that's, with that attitude, Bob, I think that's why you've had so much success in this sport.
Mm. No, we appreciate what they've done for us, and like again, I'm not just saying it, I really mean it. Without them, we would never made it.
Now, back in the early 70s, you're running around Oxford, you and your brother, and you had the idea that it needed a big paying race. You know, at the time, that was pretty big money. You put a 200-lap race on. But what made you come up with the idea to make it think it would work?
Well, we did. To be honest with you, my brother Dick should get more of the credit for that than I do. I mean, we talked about, we did everything together, talked about stuff, and then he talked about it, and I talked about it with him, and together we did it. But I mean, Dick needs a lot of that credit for the Oxford 250, or the Oxford 200, and then we changed it to the 250. My brother Dick was a big part of everything I did.
Yeah, and that race is just, it's evolutionized, it's changed. You know, some say for the worse, some say for the better, but it's still the Oxford 250. And, you know, it means a lot to this region of Oxford each July, and which you call home. This area is your home. So, you know, there's a lot of people that have enjoyed a lot of weekends there because of you.
I know we used to sell it out years ago. I don't know how it's doing now. We sold it first to Mike Liberty, and then he sold it to Bill Ryan. And I don't know, I haven't been there in years and years, and I don't know how well it's doing, but we used to sell it out and do very, very well with it. We used to get a lot of cars, too.
Yeah, and, you know, one of the things that, you know, it was always, you know, the big guys raced for the big money that day, but it was still a big day for the little guys, you know, in the support divisions to be racing in front of those crowds. And, you know, sometimes people don't think of those guys, but I know you always did think of the little guys.
No, we had to. I was a little guy, too. In fact, I still am, but, you know, you got to appreciate what you got, and you got to respect the people and the drivers and everybody to make anything work.
Yeah. Now you sold Oxford. You're sitting on the sidelines. You go over and you buy the Breyer Motorsports Park with nothing. I mean, you didn't know that anything could happen. You probably had an idea that you might get some of the lower tier NASCAR tours to come over, but you didn't know what to expect. There was no promises, but you went out. You guys did it. You built a beautiful facility. Opened that up in July of 1990, and talk about the growth there from when you started to where it was when you passed it off to Bruton.
Well, when we sold it to Bruton, at that time, every race we ever had was sold out. We started, I believe, with 55,000 seats, but then when we got the Cup, I think 3 years later, we started adding seats, and we got up to, we actually had 94,000 some seats. That's not counting the boxes and all that. So we get just about 100,000 in the place. And we got it in every race we ever had, we sold it out.
So you and your family were an instrumental part of bringing big-time stock car racing up here to the Northeast for a lot of the people that weren't able to travel to the Daytonas and the Bristols and the Charlottes. They were able to now, right in their backyard, see the stars, the Earnhardts, the Pettys, those type of guys race.
No, I agree with you on that, but again, I can't stop saying that the fans and everybody was the one that made it work. We could have sat there and had a hell of a race with nobody in the grandstands. But I mean, everybody was good to us. They all respected everything we did, and we did everything we could to try to make their stay over there a little better for them and everything else. So it's a two-way street. It's not us completely.
You're exactly right, Bob. But I want to thank you for taking the time. The reason we're doing this, Bob's off in Florida right now, unable to attend the show. But you gave a lot back to us fans, and I want you to accept this award of excellence from myself, the Northeast Motorsports Expo, and all the drivers and fans, because with the two things that you put on, you gave guys a lot of joy and their families. So I want to thank you for everything,
well,
Bob.
I appreciate it, and I want to thank you. And again, I'm accepting it for the fans and drivers and everybody, not just yourself and the family, but because I can't stress enough how much everybody's done for us over the years in racing. Yeah. My wife and I first came up here in 1963 with our midget race car to a race, and we took in a race down here that 4th of July, and then that winter they were going to sell the track. They couldn't make any money, and I didn't have enough money to buy it, so I got an option on it for a year and ran it in '64 and did very well. And then I went down to the first manufacturer's bank in Lewiston that was there at the time, borrowed the rest of the money to buy it. They probably should have put him in jail for loaning me the money, but it worked out well and everything went good from that day on.
Yeah, you got to say, we're sitting here in 2011,
right.
and well, actually it's 2012 now when everybody sees this.
Yeah.
And racing's been good to you, but you've been good to racing.
Yeah, but again, I can't stress enough, if it wasn't for the fans in 1964 and growing it grew pretty fast, and it was, we were lucky, and we got to thank everybody.
And that's one thing, folks, that I will say, and I'm not knocking anybody, but there's a promoter that understands that how important the fans and the drivers are to his program. And that's why you're the recipient of this year's Award of Excellence.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Live it up with a new 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Increased horsepower and mileage. Or go for the all-new look of the Jeep Compass 4x4. If Maine had a state car, it would be the Jeep. No other vehicle has the capabilities that come standard on every Jeep. No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Clark's Car Crushing, located in Hollowell, providing guaranteed honest weights with top dollar being paid. Gary Hotels, located in Brunswick, Freeport, Waterville, and Augusta, the official hotel of Mainly Motorsports.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch, and when I'm in Maine, I watch Mainly Motorsports.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainely Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports. We're here as we continue our walk around, showing people some of the things that were going on Saturday. Maybe you weren't here. Maybe you weren't able to make it down this year, but a lot of great things. Quirk, one of our supporters, came in 3 years ago. Each year they get bigger and bigger and want to be more involved. So got playing some beanbag games today, getting people to stop. They got a lot of reps here. You know, any question you got on anything Quirk sells statewide, they have the answers. If they don't, they'll find it. And they got so many persons here working the booth, there's got to be somebody with the answer. Just has to be. You know, so great display. They come up, get the chance to look inside a Power Stroke diesel, you know, just all the components and what make it run. So just thank you to Quirk and all they do for this show and the support that they've given us in the 3 years that I've owned it. Then we got over in the Honeywell Valley, we got Guy Honeywell, and you know, he was hoping to have a truck on a teeter-totter and just wasn't able to, but Guy's been here every one of these shows, and you know, big supporter of the Northeast Motorsports Expo and what we do. So thank you to Guy Honeywell once again. Then we start up the middle aisle, and you know, 3 years ago I started out, there was no race car builders here, no chassis builders. Mitch and Judy Green from Crazy Horse decided that they wanted to come up here and you know, have a car on display, take a booth, a vendor's booth, and display their product, meet some fans, talk to some people, meet some different people, and you know, and I think it's been a rewarding experience for them. And standing out in front of their booth right now is Austin Terrio talking to a fan. Just got guy looked like he did a little car for him, but hey bud, Austin's going to be signing autographs there in a little while. So there's Judy Green's been to the show for 3 years, has a great time, and Crazy Horse Racing. They see that the value of being here at the Northeast Motorsports Expo. So then we're going to catch up with the New Meadows gang. Here they are, their first track. Joey Pohl in the house. So thanks for coming, Joe. Joey will be with Austin and Wayne. They'll be signing some autographs coming up in a while. So there's the New Meadow girls. They brought up their own models, and she wants to be on TV. So she wants to be famous. I don't know if this will make her famous, but she can tell her friends she was on Mainly Motorsports. So passing out schedules, and look at the tire. I mean, these aren't your mother's treaded snow tires, you know, the spikes that go in them, and, you know, I guess you get grip, you know, so I think there's a lot of work to make that happen. Three or 4 hours to make one tire, so that's, wow. That's like preparing a big Thanksgiving dinner. But then we move on. We got Tomcat brought their truck up on display, and you know, you'll see them at a lot of area mud runs. And then, you know, this group, everybody that came to the show last year might remember Vern Romanowski's beautiful number 5 out on the end. Anybody that doesn't know the story, wasn't long after that they lost trailer and everything in an accident, an awful fire. But they're still supporting the sport of super modified racing. John and the gang called me up. This is the Ismer Super Modified show car that they wanted to bring up to the show and have on display, supporting not only the Northeast Motorsports Expo, but super modified racing in general. So thank you to them coming up. And, you know, and then over here, every year we look for that star or celebrity. And I know most of them don't think they're a star or think they're a celebrity, but I'm going to let this guy introduce himself to a lot of viewers, and we're here with doing a walk around for Mainly Motorsports. Why don't you tell the viewers of Mainly Motorsports who you are and what brings you up here?
Yeah, well, I'm Steve Mignonti, and I'm here with New England Racing Fuels, of course the Holland family. They brought me up here, had the car come up, but I'm basically one of the guys on the Barrett Jackson broadcast on Speed Channel. So when the cars cross the block and you watch the show, you usually see my finger pointing out the VIN on the car to see if it's really a Z28 or a Hemi. But also beyond that, I'm an avid drag racer, and I was on staff at Hot Rod for about 8 years back in Los Angeles for 98 through 2006 or 7, I think it was. But when I was there, I built this altered wheelbase Nova funny car, and it's basically a streetable tribute to the door slammer altered wheelbase cars that were popular in 65, 66. And it does wheelies, runs low 11s. It doesn't run 160 like the old cars did, but it's a lot of fun to drive, and it's people seem to enjoy it.
So you're telling me they only let you put your finger on TV?
Yeah, only my finger. Yeah.
You never get your face?
Once in a while.
Once in a while you'll see his face. But I want to thank you for coming up and taking the time. And what do you think about the show? I mean,
it's a great show. You know, I mean, I don't come up to Maine very often. I live down in Massachusetts, but very impressive and a great turnout. You know, a lot of round cars and some drag racing. My roots are drag racing, but there's a lot of crossover. Crossover. It shows me how much I need to learn about the New England round scene. A lot of legends here and a lot of just history made here in New England.
You're absolutely right. But I thank you for coming up to the show and supporting what John and them do. They've been a big supporter of the show for years, so thank you, Steve.
Yeah, sure thing, Steve.
All right.
You got a great name.
It's it's easy. And then we move on, and then we have the New England Racing Fuel booth, and Charlie, he's running away. Chris, they're just, well, actually, no, we left. We're in the Modified Racing Series booth, and they hadn't been back in a few years, but the last 3 years of my ownership, they saw value in coming up. This year, they aren't lucky enough to have a race in Maine, but they still see the value of having their product on display for the modified fans in the state of Maine. So you get a chance to go down to Lee. They have them. There's other tracks. Go on their website. You can link over from the Mainly Motorsports site and get a chance to see where they're going to be running. And there's still nothing like open wheel modifieds, and I know there's a lot of fans in the state of Maine that still enjoy them, so it's their chance to get out and see these open wheel modifieds. This is the 07 that Melissa Fifield, who's signing autographs right now, will be driving this year, so I'm sure she's pretty excited, and it's a big step to her. And then where it started, the vintage. You know, this group right here, the Wicked Good display, they got 5 cars up here on display, and they're a lot of Wicked Good group team members up here supporting the show and their efforts. And there's my buddy Johnny Rice. They're still probably not talking to me after I blew his motor up at Wiscasset. So right? But whose fault was it, right? No, what? Yeah, but whose fault did we determine it was that motor blew? Mine or yours?
Probably mine.
That's right. Not probably, because your wife said it was yours. Right?
I know what she said.
Yeah,
but,
so she's got my back. But thank you for coming up to the show, John, and supporting what we do. And you know, this whole group, and they're big supporters of Mainly Motorsports as well as the Northeast Motorsports Expo. So thank them once again for coming. And we make the track around, and probably the biggest thing here is this tractor. Now these kids starting with all their pedal pull tractors, and now they're going to the next level. And look at the size of this tractor that somebody's going to, if they put a mowing deck on this thing, they could mow their lawn in a hurry. Probably mow everybody's lawn. Little Evan Armington there, he did a little lawn mowing business. I bet he could really make this thing happen. He could take on some big accounts with this thing. So the Maine State truck and tractor pullers come up here. Beautiful display. The big tractor, the smaller tractors, but I'm sure these smaller tractors will pull something. They'll look like they pull a house down. So, and one of the neat things that these guys do, and they're not doing it now, but they do it throughout the weekend, is this kids tractor pull. They hook the thing up, they put the weights in, these kids pedal that tractor. I've been after them for 3 years to get one my size that I could pedal. So I guess they don't make one. They try to put pedals on one of these, but you know, these guys, and that's what this show is all about, the interactiveness of getting the people to stop at your booth and see what you have going on. And that's how you introduce your product to new fans, because you know, if you're not interactive with them and let them know what you're all about, how are they going to know what you are all about? So then we're going to move on, and this next group right here, big things in 2012. Del Merritt has taken over sole ownership from Alice Baker, and big things they're expecting at Speedway 95. They got a lot of changes going on. The second annual Ike Door race is going to be taking place. Got some beautiful cars up here, right here in the front row of the show, and got some new people helping out. Kim, Alice's daughter, stayed on board, helping out. And then we, Chuck Hall, who was the promoter of the annual, the first Ike Door race, is helping him out with promotions as well. So really expecting big things from Speedway 95 in 2012.
Live it up with a new 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Increased horsepower and mileage. Or go for the all-new look of the Jeep Compass 4x4. If Maine had a state car, it would be the Jeep. No other vehicle has the capabilities that come standard on every Jeep. No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
Winter is here. Are you ready? We are. Our showroom is stuffed with clothing for kids and adults. Plugs, belts, oil, and more. Looking for a snowmobile trailer? Scotch Recreation is Maine's largest stocking snow pro dealer. We also have over 100 used sleds in stock. Check us out online at scotchrecreation.com. That's Scotch Recreation, Route 4 in Turner, or Holton Power Sports, Route 1 in Holton.
Clark's Car Crushing has been a family-owned and operated business since 1978. We do everything from crushing cars, handling industrial scraps, to buying the scrap metal right out of the back of your pickup. Copper, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, you name it, we'll buy it. We have roll-off containers of all sizes for industrial accounts. We'll handle the legwork with full drop-off and pickup services. So for a professional job, guaranteed honest weights, and top dollar paid statewide, come see the Clark family in Farmingdale, Maine. Clark's Car Crushing. Don't fix it, scrap it.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Award Champs, rewarding your champions. The official supplier of Mainly Motorsports, Southern Maine Motors. You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Award Champs, rewarding your champions. The official supplier of Mainly Motorsports, Southern Maine Motors. Out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership, Route 1 Saco.
Sunday morning we're going to continue, finish up Mainly Motorsports, but Mobile Museum, always here. One of the highlights of the weekend is the Maine Motorsports Mobile Museum, and you know, these guys just do a great job, and I can't thank them enough. And you saw them earlier in the episode being set up, so it's just really good. Moving on, we got the Pro All-Star Series. They weren't able to make it, but 3 of their teams decided they wanted to be here and bring up and be part of the show, so I really appreciate those guys coming up. UNOH, you've seen them on Eddie McDonald's car, and you know, being involved in sponsoring some races. They came up and part of the display, heavily involved in the modifieds down at Bristol, so I appreciate them making their first appearance at the Northeast Motorsports Expo. and then Star Speedway, home of the 24th Annual Promoter of the Year, Bob Weber Jr. And I'll tell you, if you're a modified fan, there's still modifieds just stone's throw away right down there across the bridge down in Epping. So Star Speedway, they got a lot of stuff going on, and really did a really nice job this year, and looking forward to working with them for many years in the future. And it's good to have the Weber family back involved. So as we make the trek around, there's just so much. And right here you got a picture of the best of show, the 05 of Jacob Dorr, and what a great job the Dorr family did with putting that car together, and very, very supportive of the shows, and and all we try to do for the tracks and fans and everything in the off season. And then we have Oxford's display, and yeah, no problem. Oxford brought up 5 cars, and there's Vanna Brackett getting ready to make her debut in the late model division. Chance to race against her and her brother and her dad. So Oxford, big things planned up there again. Ryan Hewins finished second to his dad. He's looking to replace his dad as the champion next year. So the way he finished the year, he very easily could. If not beat him, at least wrestle him in the pits. Then we get a Winterport Dragway. One of the first group every year that jumps on board to come back and support us. So if you ever get a chance to go up there and check what they do with the Gasser guys, they have big weekends up there. And right here, an old Studebaker won the hell of a good appearing drag car award. So really appreciate them coming up. Always a part of the show. That's what's neat about this motorsports show, this circle track, drag track. We got some, you've seen the trucks, you've seen it all. And then over here at Unity Raceway, George and the family do a great job. The guys are getting ready, and it's hard to believe it's January, but racing's just around the corner. We'll be racing before we know it. So thank you to them for coming up and supporting us once again. Got some show winners over here. And Unity's really excited for what they got planned for 2012. So we're going to take a break. We're going to take you out in the North Wing when we come back.
Hey, are you Bob Crowley?
Yeah.
Are you going to Ossipee Trail?
Yes, I am.
Sweet. Get in.
People will do whatever they gotta do to get to Ossipee Trail Motor Sales, Route 25, Gorham.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Scott's Recreation, now at 3 convenient locations. Go to scottsrecreation.com to view their inventory. LKQ Core, any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham.
Okay, we're making our way into the North Wing now, and a couple of vendors outside the door. This is how full this show's getting. Now they're out in the hallway on the way into the North Wing. So you have Night Watch Protection and K&A Distributors, coming up and supporting what we do here at the Northeast Motorsports Expo. So really appreciate a couple of new vendors and hope they've had a good turnout and it's worked out well for them. And we're going to go from the new vendors to the old. And when I mean old, I don't mean it in old as in age. I just mean these two have been coming here since this thing's basically started, and that's Russ and Darlene over there at R&D Racing, and then Wayne Elston. And everybody knows when they walk through the door, they're going to be the first two faces they see if they look to the right and the left. So I really appreciate them guys coming up. I want to get into some racing over here, and Terry and Marty and Thunder and Valley Raceway. And if you've never had a chance to get up there and experience what they do with the go-karts, you really need to, because they're big supporters of what we do here, and as everybody is, but they really go out of their way to benefit the whole show, and I thank them for coming up and do a great job. And then they've attracted the Central Maine quarter scale tractor pullers that have come up the last 2 years to involve themselves in the show and try to be involved and be a part of the Northeast Motorsports Expo. And they have a good experience. They bring a nice display. And then you run into some collectibles. You get knick-knack racing collectibles, and they've been here 3 years. 3 years isn't much, but they're seeing the value. They're enjoying their experience here with the show, and have them back each year, and we move them around so you never know where they're going to be. And then Richmond, you can see all the chairs. They're lined up, all the kids doing all the, I don't know what they're doing, but they're probably doing better than what everybody else would do. So it's a great job. And Track and Trail, new go-kart vendor out of New Hampshire, decided he wanted to come down, use the show as a marketing tool to try to get his name out. So I hope everything's worked out for him. And powder coating. Look at the colors of these wheels on the powder coating. You can do just about anything you want to do with powder coating. So, mid-coast powder coating.
Inexpensive and easy to do.
We've got a bike frame over here. You got go-kart chassis, intakes, Then you got the mini cup guys. And I'll tell you what, there's two groups. They look the same, but they're both different. You got the mid-coast guys. You got Richie Tebow, track champion. Then we got Cameron Folsom over here with the Kingfield mini cups. And, one's a rigid, one's a suspended, but they're kind of mixing things up there this year. They're going to try to run some races together, and, pretty excited, pretty neat. Gino's Collectibles, Gino's Hobbies. He's right up out of Buxton, Maine. Find him out there, and he's got a lot of old collectibles and old die-cast and models and all kinds of different things. And, it's great for him to come up for the first time. A couple of ones up here, Festiva Resorts. They've been coming for 3 years. They come up. It's a chance to win a prize, just looking at a timeshare. Then we got Wyotech. We all need to go to college. If I did college, I wouldn't be walking around here telling you all this on Mainly Motorsports. But no, it's great. They came up, had a good experience. Their first time being involved with the Northeast Motorsports Expo, and it's worked good for us. So we appreciate them being here. And then we got West Pettingill, comes up out of Massachusetts. Always brings one of Ollie Silver's cars. A lot of history, and that's one thing you'll notice about this show. There's a lot of history in this show that these guys are a part of, and they enjoy bringing up the car, and a lot of the guys like seeing the older cars. And then we got everybody's favorite, June and Gardner. They've been involved in motorsports for years and continue to go to the racetracks when they can and get around, and they come up here and talking with June this morning, she just loves the fact that the people are around and seeing the friends and still a part of the game all these years. And how long has it been, June? 51, so it's 50 years, 60 years you've been in motorsports. Wow. And if it wasn't for people like them, you younger generations wouldn't have the chances that you're being handed to you. So, think of these guys, the ones that are the patriarchs of this sport. And then the Saco Pathfinder is coming up, and everybody's heard me and seen me talk about the lawnmower racing. Well, now they're going to do the go-karts on the dirt. So you have a chance to check them out and get in touch with them and, learn more about what they're trying to do over there. So that's some wild stuff. And then my banner lady, the little shop of ours.
Hello.
I'll leave it at that. But no, great job. Able to come and pick out shirts. She decided to come up with, she brainstormed and she made a shirt and with our logo on it. Hopefully she sold a few. I've seen a few walking around. I know my kids have the two, so I had the two. So that's probably why she did it, because she knows she'd sell at least two. So thank you to her for coming. Best Western down here with a display for the Civic Center Inn. Be a Best Western Rewards member, and they are very supportive of, actually I'm going to have a piece of candy too, first thing I've eaten all day. But they've been supportive and really done a great job helping put this together, so thank you to them. MainRacing.com, the forum, where you'll find everything out about it, and everybody wants to know who's the guy that runs the forum. It's right there, it's Jay Hall. And all these geniuses in the internet message races that probably never turned a lap before, but they got all the answers. Well, blame it on him. And then, this one, this is a reality check right here. Save speed for the track. They wanted to be involved in this and reach out to the racing community, use the racing community as a tool to help spread awareness of, what speed used in an improper manner can do. So thank you for them for coming. Thank you for them and all their drivers that are here coming up and supporting the show. So it's been a great time. We just took you around a little walk around. Satellite service. You had the game on yesterday. So no game today, but it was pretty neat to be able to have the game here. So first time vendor. Hope everything's worked out good for them. We're going to take a break. We'll be back and wrap things up here on this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports.
Today's vehicles are equipped with complex safety features such as anti-lock brakes, seatbelt restraints, and airbag systems. Even collision avoidance systems. Not available in all models. Hi, I'm Sean Moody from Moody's Collision Centers. We don't wish bad luck on anyone, but even with today's technology, we need to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel.
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 6 convenient locations.
Is it time to replace that old car, but past credit problems are getting in the way? At JT Motors, credit issues are a thing of the past. We have vehicles for any need. Growing family? How about a minivan? With winter here, come in and browse our great selection of four-wheel drive utilities. With a low down payment, you can qualify for this program despite those past credit issues. That's JT Motors, 650 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, where you always drive away with a smile on your face.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Gary Hotels, located in Brunswick, Freeport, Waterville, and Augusta, the official hotel of Mainly Motorsports. Northern Race Tire, dealer for Sunoco Race Fuels, distributed by New England Racing Fuel.
Well, there you go, everyone. If you were here, you recognize what you saw. If you missed the 24th Annual Northeast Motorsports Expo, now you know what you missed. Thanks again to our great sponsors and supporters, Team EJP, Hell of a Good, Quirk Auto Parts, Award Champs, Sunoco Race Fuels, John Holland, Steve Magnanti, Andy Shaw, our special guests, all the drivers that came up, participated in the autograph session, all the fans that came up, voted for the Young Guns. It's been a great weekend. Mark your calendars for January. I can't even tell you the date, but it's the first weekend in January for the 25th Annual Northeast Motorsports Expo. Surely to top this one, which was great. So thank you, Todd Mead, all the awards, the award champs just does a great job. And you ask anybody, we handed out over 40 awards this weekend. Best of shows, best displays, the Mainleys, the driver of the years, just so much. So thank you to everybody that participated and helped make this such a great show. And we look forward to seeing you next week on Mainly Motorsports and next year at the 25th Annual Northeast Motorsports Expo.